Mark Dunn, all right, we got a microphone situation. All right, this is Chuck Worley. I am the founder of the 757 House Whisperers Show. I am Chuck Worley of Worley's Home Services. We have got our special host tonight. We have got Justin with Pyramid Roofing, Mike Davenport with Custom Final Products, our window specialist, Tommy Hines, the Perfect Home Remedy guy. He's our money guy. And then Albin Homes and Albico, any type of questions with home remodeling, new construction, pretty much anything having to do with a house. If you have any questions about any of those, we have a special guest in-house tonight, Miss Cindy Rawl with Alpha Pest Solutions.
Hey,
she is.
Hey, thanks.
I don't know what is going on with my. Can I hear you? Oh, that's so much better. Now I can hear the show. I was just talking and couldn't hear anybody.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
This me and volume control. That's normally that's normally not a situation. Normally you can hear me coming for miles. So anyway, we just want to we are here the reason I invented this show was to kind of be a public service thing for 757 homeowners. There are so many problems with houses. I mean, from your crawl space to your attic to framing to new construction to remodels. There are so many problems with houses that I know that people have questions about problems in their house. And I wanted to give you guys an Ask the Experts show to what we can do to help you guys learn more about your houses. So one thing that's guaranteed, I'm going to have a good time. I don't know if you guys are going to have a good time listening, but
Absolutely.
I am going to have a good time on the show. Me and Albin, we got Albin here tonight, and Cindy. The three of us are going to have a good time tonight, answering questions, and we've got some trivia questions like we do every week. We've got some text messages from customers already that text the show at 757-955-9415. And when you text the show, it's really to get a hold of any of us. We've got the one phone number, 757-955-9415. You can call us, leave a message, text the show if you're too afraid to call in and ask a question. But we've got a couple people that have already reached out to us through our website and through text, some questions. But I'm hoping some of you guys are going to call in with questions about your house, whether it's framing, whether it's sheetrock, whether it's insulation. I'm trying to cue you guys to think of questions about your house that, you know what, I really want an answer to this. One of the greatest things about the show is, and we've had customers actually call up and thank us for this, while you're asking a question about your house and we answer it, you're actually helping the rest of the 757 homeowners, because there's 100 other people that have the same question or a very similar question that we're going to answer, and we're going to help more than one person at a time. I know I've been in houses for the last 25, 30 years. I'm starting to get long in the tooth, but
yes, you are.
That's why I asked Mike Davenport and Tommy Hines to come in, because they're kicking the big 7-0 number, and I'm just in the 5. It's so we're gonna have fun on the show. But please call in, ask questions. Like I said, you're actually gonna help hundreds of other people in our area that have these questions about their house.
Chuck, we had a crazy question last week that we didn't really get an answer for. This is kind of along the trivia thing, and I still think it's a good one. I just didn't get a good answer. And it was like, if you were going to name the new tunnel and you had a chance to name it, what would you call it? I know you got a trivia question. I was thinking maybe a name like Hampton Roads Gridlock. Maybe.
I think you did it. I think you did it.
You know that extra tunnel's not going to help with traffic.
So let me tell you what. I was in the Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce meeting on the board of directors, and I will tell you that VDOT did a presentation on the tunnel that it is impressive what they are building.
Right.
That everybody, when you're coming from Hampton,
I will say that.
When you're coming from Hampton and you're looking up, and that big monstrosity thing to the right, I'm thinking, okay, that's awful big for 2-4 lanes.
Yeah, I think they got a large
it's
gantry
8
or something.
lanes.
Yeah, it's going to be
impressive.
big.
It's 8 lanes.
But
And
it's not enough.
they've got like
enough.
a high production thing going on there with the gantry, pulling those things and placing all
and
that
we
stuff.
have, and I mean, they showed a video today. I'm gonna try and snag that video from VDOT and put it on our website. But it is really impressive. We have broken ground. Like they had this video of it's called Mary is the nickname for the groundhog burrow in the hole.
Right.
But breaking through, it was like the fastest that this machine has ever. I think it's the number 2 longest. I think Seattle's was longer. So this is like the second longest. They are hitting all kinds of records with even though they backed it up 18 months or 2 years or whatever it is.
Lookers.
But they have what?
Lookers.
Oh, I thought you said hookers.
That's
I was like, whoa!
That's
Oh, this is a
lookers.
family show.
You know,
We can't have hookers
those are
on
the
the
guys
show.
that are standing and looking at something while one guy's working.
Yo,
Those are the
yes,
lookers.
yes, we definitely have the lookers.
Well,
Not to
let
be
me ask
confused
you,
with hookers.
now,
but
Right.
it's,
Did you? Are you doing the ventilation work on that tunnel?
Hell no. No, excuse me.
I'm
No.
doing the pest control.
No, yeah, no,
You got
we're
pest control.
yeah,
I'm sorry, I
that's-
didn't get the foundation work.
yeah, no, the,
I'm not
yeah,
putting a
that
roof on
is
thing
a
either. I mean, it's big stuff.
It is quite impressive. But like I said, to defend VDOT, which I know nobody's doing right now, that is a really impressive feat. What they are doing with this tunnel and this new machine that they call Mary, and like I said, it was national engineering news.
All jokes aside, we're really thankful for all those workers out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I mean, they
absolutely,
made a big key. You know, people are looking when you're driving. Please pay attention. I think he told me last year they lost like a couple hundred people in getting hit.
Yeah.
So these people want to go home to their families. So
Right.
please be careful.
Yeah.
I know it's cool. You're looking, but pay attention.
Right,
It's very dangerous to be out there on the roads.
Hey, we got 3 callers coming in.
Holy cow! I haven't even
Yeah.
given the
I
trivia
know.
questions yet.
But we should
All
probably
right.
give that trivia question before we.
All right, let's do it. The trivia question, if I can find it. So 1987, I graduated from Norfolk Catholic High School. It's my favorite year. I did. I graduated by the grace of
They had
Christ.
school back
There was no air conditioning in that school. I promise you that.
Oh, that's why you went into HVAC.
That's right. Yeah, because I was like, fat man sweating, man. I got to get some AC up in here. All right, so in 1987, one of the favorite movies, The Lost Boys. Can you name the actors, 2 of them really famous, I think it's 4 actors from The Lost Boys.
Oh, well,
And then, you can't do it. It's cheating. And then 1987, the most famous song, female artist, that you still hear today is a great song. 87. So, and no cheating, no GTS.
Music came out
No,
in the 80s,
no Google
I'm
did
saying.
stuff, right? All right, let's pick up these calls.
Hey, we got a call from
Who do we
Frank
got?
in Newport News with a question about the expectancies of a water heater. Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good.
All right, so you got a question on life expectancy of a water heater.
Yeah, what's going on is I had a pipe burst in my house, and I took out the shower to get to the actual pipe to go ahead and fix it. Well, the bathroom is facing, real touching the actual garage, and the hot water heater is there, and I got to pull the hot water heater out to replace the drywall behind it. And I was thinking, like, it's a 9-year-old hot water heater, but I'm taking it in and out. Should I go ahead and replace it now, or should I wait?
So let me tell you a funny story about that. So my ex-father-in-law, phenomenal guy, Paul Givens, loved him to death. He just passed away a couple months ago. He's in 93, I think. So this is about 20 years ago. I had just gotten married to his daughter, and we're replacing carpet, right? And he's pulling out this old pink water heater, if that tells you how old this thing is, right? Pink water heater, which was an old Sears and Roebuck. It's 29 years old. We're pulling this water heater out. And he's like, all right, well, let's put the water heater back in. I just spent the whole weekend working my butt off putting in flooring. And I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm putting the water heater in. I said, I'm going to buy a new water heater because if you screw this floor up, because that thing's 29 years old.
That's
so
amazing.
my funny story is
incredible.
like my dad, it's just they were built that way. My dad's 78 last week, just 78. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Frank, I am very impressed that you are thinking ahead. So I tell the funny story that, 30 years is ridiculous, right? Most of them
don't expect to get 30
most
years,
of them.
Frank.
I mean, there's water heaters. Water heaters have 6-year warranties. They have 8-year warranties. They have 10-year warranties, and the most I think I've ever seen is a 12-year warranty on a water heater. Being that it's 8 years old, 8 years ago, I do not think that they had 10 and 12-year-old. So you're right at the cusp of when that thing needs to be a thing. Now, I will tell the story is it was a cottage in Gloucester. The thing probably only had about, 3 gallons of actual hot water in it because of all the sediment that had built up in this water heater. But it wasn't a big deal because they were only there,
I think that plays
on the
into it,
weekends.
though. Just what you said, sediment. I mean, if you don't have filtration on your water, you got well water running through it. Is your water hard? Is it soft? All those things could possibly take some of the life away of that water heater. And it is in the garage, so if you really, really wanted to stretch it and you're the one that pulled it and you can put it back in pretty quick, maybe you'll get 2 or 3 more years out of it.
Save the
Talk about a tankless water
Oh
heater.
yeah, tankless is.
I have
Come on.
tankless.
I will
and
fight.
mine
I will
definitely is
fight
nice.
you. I
Yep.
will fight. I
Yep.
will. 250 pounds will be on you if you try and take my
Well, I
tankless.
tell you,
I love my tankless.
Frank,
Yeah.
if you've ever run out of hot water, and you probably have with a water tank, you change over to tankless, and
You'll be
everybody
spoiled.
in your house will be happy.
Yeah,
If you get,
you'll
if you still got all your kids at home and all that stuff.
You will. It will spoil you rotten.
Pipe?
What's that?
How about Quest pipe? I have Quest pipe in the house. That's why it's breaking all. I had 5 leaks already.
Yeah. So Quest is just a time bomb in your house. It's just a. I mean, I hate to tell people
I
that,
would
but
keep
it's.
the water heater and change out the Quest first.
I mean,
I changed both.
Well,
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean,
I changed both.
who replums houses?
I know
Chuck?
a guy. I know a guy.
Chuck, we just had somebody call in a couple weeks ago and just bragged about Chuck and everything that he did about pulling all the plumbing out of the house
Yep.
and fixing that and making sure that they did the least amount of damage to the walls. I wasn't even there. I felt like I was there the way the guy told the story.
I
but
know.
Chuck, it sounds
It
like
was-
he did a fabulous job in this guy's house. And
And
he
that
just
guy-
called in and said, man, great job.
Yep.
So
I was very kind, and I actually ran into him about 2 weeks later at a Kiwanis club over in Yorktown at Joe and Mima's, and he raved again in front of everybody. I was like, man, I need to hire you. You're like the best salesman I got, But no, he Quest Pipe is just a time bomb, and he did the same thing as you, Frank. He waited. He actually had things that we actually have access to, and most people do now, that has a water cutoff sensor. His daughter actually worked for Ferguson and sold him on it, and put it in that when he was out of town, he found the leak underneath the house, because who's going in the crawl space, right?
Me.
Well, yes, you were paid to go in crawl spaces,
Right.
right?
Every day.
Yeah, so he had this sensor, so all of a sudden the water's going crazy. He's checking all his pipes, his shower's off. He's like, where's all this
I'll
water
tell
coming?
you,
It
as
was
a
in his
builder-
crawl space.
As a
yeah.
builder, I'm fixing sinks and all that stuff all the time, demoing stuff because water lines broke and everything. Guess what? I was like, well, what do I think I'm immune to it? I put sensors under everything in my house
Yeah.
because I want to know when it happens, because I don't.
This
want all
actually
that.
sets up to the water line, though.
Yeah,
like
you
okay,
can get
yeah,
like
so you can get a sensor.
YoLink. You go to
I
YoLink
think
and
that is,
Amazon.
yep.
It's got sensors. They got cutoffs. I just went and bought a sensor for one to set next to the toilet, one underneath each sink. Anything that might have water, I put it there. And now I've got the hub, and I've got possibly go and get this. I don't have that actual device, but it's only like $135. You got to realize it's going to save you thousands if it just cuts off.
Especially if you have Quest pipe. I mean, Quest is the death of the house. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's yeah, well, it's even worse if it leaks in the attic, right?
But yeah, you need to get hooked up with Chuck. He can call you and get you straight with that Quest pipe.
I can definitely help you.
So I had to look up your Yo link that you just mentioned, and it looks like a fire alarm, but essentially it detects moisture. Is that right?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I actually have. I went ahead and got some of the other stuff. It's really cool stuff. It's great technology. Yeah. I've got in every room. I've actually got the temperature gauge, and it actually tracks all the history of all your humidity. You can go in there and say, well, what was the humidity in your house yesterday or a month ago, or what's the average humidity? And it just tracks all that stuff. Fabulous product. It's just really good.
And they got to put your air conditioner in, 17 years ago, man. It did a great job. So that thing's still running.
You know it.
I told Steve that the other day. I said, remember that unit ever in Smith? Oh, yeah, I remember that. I said, she's still getting it. She's still
both
getting
of them.
Yeah.
One's getting a little better than the other, but yeah.
Anyway, you want to try and grab the next call? Or thanks, Frank,
for calling in,
Yeah,
Frank.
thanks for calling.
Appreciate it.
Good luck with that.
Chuck, call me.
All right.
Call me,
Yes,
Chuck.
sir.
All right, yeah, we can run out to Bucky in Virginia Beach. Welcome. How are you?
How you doing, Bucky?
Good. Doing good. Gentlemen, great show. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. Hey,
Thanks
I'm running out of time, so I'm going to keep it short. I had to change my question because I realized that Chuck Worley is, without a doubt, the best-dressed man in the home improvement business.
You can't miss him, can you?
I see him at all the big-time city, state of the city affairs and chamber meetings, and I got to tell you, the listeners need to know what you're wearing right now, you sexy guy. And I'll
Well, I got my green and orange Hey Dudes on. They match my Vans.
Well, with his colors, he's almost ready to go on any job site in Hampton Roads.
Yeah,
He's bright.
almost. Yeah, I was wearing my Chuck Taylors yesterday, and I joked the lady. I said, "Look, my Vans on my feet always match my Vans." So I got one green, one orange, opposite laces. Look, people don't remember to call you unless you get in front of them, and my goal is to get in front of 100 people a day, talk to 100 people a day, get in front of them, recognize, answer questions, be the guy that everybody goes to, ask the expert, be the guy that answers questions. I don't have to do your job to be able to answer your questions. I feel like if you serve enough people, you're going to be blessed. And by helping people and serving people and answering questions, whether you use us or not, I feel like by answering these questions, people will use us because we're giving.
Yeah, I think it's right. It's all about service.
It's take care of the customer, take care of it. And I've got thousands and thousands of customers. I've been in the heating and air business since '96, selling to the public, talking to the public, owning my own companies. I know it. I know there's thousands of people out there that know I've done a really good job for them. And, take care of customers, they'll take care of you.
Did he give us a question? You were just
I don't know. Yeah, he had the boogie. Yeah, he said he had the boogie or something.
Well, thanks for calling.
He had a moisture question. So that was another question. So if we got to go to break.
Yeah, we've got about a little less than 2 minutes left, but I want everybody to know before we go out to our news break, we'll be here till 7 o'clock. But Chuck, who do they call for any of the solutions that we talk about on the show, from the crawl space to the attic to the HVAC and water and everything in between?
That is so the 757 House Whisperer number kind of goes. You just call that one number I'll get you to everybody, but it's 955-9415. You can text us questions. You can call in and ask questions. That 757housewhisperer.com, 627-7979. If you want to call into the radio show, I've already had 3 questions. We're getting ready to go to John and Gloucester.
We should probably mention, though, that you can actually go online to YouTube and watch the old episodes if you want to. I mean, they're all there.
Yeah, you can. If you go to YouTube, look up Chuck Worley, House Whisperer, it's all there. It's all there. I think it's a great show that people enjoy going back and listening to.
Yeah.
So,
and again, 955-9415 for more information. 757-955-9415 or online at 757housewhisperer.com. 757housewhisperer.com, and we'll return right after the quick break with
tell John. Yeah, tell John.
We'll get
okay,
John and John in Gloucester and everybody else who wants to join the show.
Hang in there, John.
627-7979, and we'll be right back.
Mr. Mark Dunn bringing us in hot. Hey, let's go right to John. He's been holding on from Gloucester, Virginia.
Yeah, hey, I live in Gloucester Point, and I bought this house a while back, and it was built in 1980, I believe. And I think it's a truss-built house. And every winter, the kitchen sheetrock lifts up off of the cabinets, and then when it gets to be summer, they come back down. And I heard Joe Troiani talking about it. WNAS used to have a show in the morning, and he was the partner. And he said it's truss lift. And I just like to know, is there anything I can do to stop that?
I just need a little clarification. You're saying this is the wall sheathing or the ceiling?
No,
sheathing?
Ceiling. The ceiling lifts
so you
up.
get a little bit of a crack, but above the wall, the upper wall cabinets and the ceiling.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, and you're saying you see it as a gap in the summer, but you don't see it in the winter.
No, that's opposite.
Opposite.
In the winter, it goes up. So I believe that it's when things cool off, that the wood or something shrinks. So it's lifting up, and then as things heat up, it drops down.
I have a hard time thinking it's the actual density of the wood or moisture in the wood. I mean, if your house is really, if your wood is moving that much, then I would say you've got too much moisture in the house. My guess is most of this is probably occurring in the ground, whether it's you've got too much moisture coming off the roof, whether it's rainwater just trapped, right in the soil around your foundation, and just causing the ground to heave or shrink. Chuck, what do you think?
Is he talking about at the ceiling, or is he talking about?
Yeah,
at
he's saying above the top of the wall cabinets.
That's what I thought he said.
And the ceiling that there's a crack there, and I'm like, I don't see that could be a problem with your roof trusses. We specialize in trusses, and so I just don't see that as part of the issue.
I mean, because if they're code, they were made to code. I mean,
you do
there's
get
no
some
way.
deflection, but it's not going to be
Not that much.
You're not going to get that much, and it's not going to be. You're not going to know. It's not going to be that noticeable if you have any. I could be wrong, but my guess is it's a moisture problem in the ground. You got gutters on your house?
Yeah, gutters and downspouts.
Yes, I do.
You have, and do you have any kind of French drain built in, getting that water away?
Don't need it. Where I live, it's all sandy, and the last time I had somebody inspect underneath, they said a termite couldn't live there because it's just so dry.
Yeah,
it's
but that
sandy.
doesn't mean you don't want to get the water away from the house.
Yeah. But if you're having issues with water, that's absolutely incorrect because if it's groundwater, you will have issues with termites. There is nobody in this area that's immune to termites. I'll tell you that. Yeah. So, I mean,
moisture
we do.
Or not moisture.
Right.
Yeah. So
because moisture will invite the termites. So, free inspections here.
Yeah. So your enemy is that water. You want to make sure you get it away from the house.
We had an in-ground pool put in just a few years ago, and they dug down 8 feet deep and didn't hit any water at all. So,
well,
did you?
But
notice
that pump could be the problem. The pump to that pool could be the problem.
We're not talking about just like you dig a hole and it fills up with water. Water, the ground will heave, and so. But we're also listening. You know, as Chuck says, your house will talk to you. If you're saying that the ground is really sandy and there is no moisture in the ground, then maybe we're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, definitely we need to come out and take a look and
Yep.
see what's going on.
Absolutely.
There's just some houses that we just have to do that because every house is different. I mean, you'll have houses in Norfolk that are just rotting out, and then right next door, the house has been there for 100 years, and it's perfect. Yeah. Like it's got, what do you call that wood? Perforated wood, where you can't drive a nail through it. It's so old.
Yep.
I don't know a name for
petrified.
that.
Is it petrified?
Oh,
is that the right word?
Dang hard.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like the next door neighbor's got petrified wood that you can't, cut. With the hands off, but so
John, I would be
different.
glad to call and talk to you a little bit further about that. See if we can't come up with something that maybe you can start to poke and pry at. And
I mean, there's obviously an issue. I mean,
Right.
because that's not normal, John. So you're great. Thank you for calling because you're not the only person with this issue. So you're really helping other people by calling in and asking that question.
Although houses talk to us, sometimes it takes a long time for
Right.
that conversation
It's
to unfold.
kind of like maybe it's like your
people.
wife. You're not listening, right?
Wait a minute
You
now.
gotta be careful,
Wait a minute
man.
now. Or it takes
No,
multiple,
you're not listening to
Hey,
your
or it
wife.
takes multiple
I'm not backing
companies.
that up.
Or it takes multiple companies to come out and take a look and actually address the problem instead of just trying to treat the symptom.
Absolutely. So I meant you not listening to your wife. It's the houses,
Careful there.
Houses is
Yeah.
talking to
There's
you,
females
but
here.
you're
Plenty of
not
times
listening.
where I'm at fault for that. So, John, thanks for calling in. I'll give you a shout.
Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah, so why don't we plug the whole show? Tell them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
627.
627-7979, 627-7979. Call in. We had 3 callers in 3 minutes of the first 3 minutes of the show. Call in. We got a couple open lines.
So what was that? So what was that trivia again? So we can get that back
let's
out
do
there. Maybe
that.
we can get somebody calling in while you're looking
All right.
that up. Hey, everybody,
I'm telling you, I know
if
the
you've
answers.
Hold on.
yeah, you can't give out the answer.
Yeah,
though.
1987. The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys were looking for the 4 actors, famous actors, 2 of them really famous, for the Lost Boys 1987 movie. And then the most famous song of 1987, female artist that you still hear today. And y'all will recognize it as soon as.
Well,
as
I'm
soon
sure
as
somebody's probably trying to figure that question out right now.
Yeah,
but
and
if
no
you,
Google, no
if
Google.
you can't figure out that question, maybe you got some crazy name you want to give to that bridge tunnel that's
There you
coming
go.
up.
It is.
Chuck, you got something? What would you call it?
Oh, man, I don't know. I feel bad about giving it a bad name after that very comprehensive review of
give
how
it a
hard
good
they're
name.
working.
So-
I mean, the
how
funny
about
guy.
this? I also asked this. What color would you paint the inside of the tunnel?
Oh, definitely green and orange.
Green
Yeah,
and orange. Oh, well,
definitely
that
green.
would make sense.
Green,
He wanted green
yeah.
and orange.
Green
you know?
on one way, orange on the other.
Black
green,
and red.
black
Always
and
black
red,
red.
okay.
Black, red, and white.
green,
Hey, we
what-
got-
green, east, west.
We got another caller, Bob
All
at
right.
Chesapeake.
Come on in, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up, my friend?
So,
How can I help you?
So I have a question. It's concerning my concrete in my backyard that's wrapped around my pool and the concrete deck that's attached to that also.
Okay.
And I've seen some products online that show it's kind of like a playground spongy material that is either heated onto the concrete and it creates that spongy barrier, no slip, like safe for playgrounds and stuff. And I was wondering, would that apply for around pool decking and over my concrete decking and residential?
Well, I think we're all kind of looking at each other. We don't have any experience in that, so we're not going
that's
to
not
lie to you. I have seen the product. I think it's cool. I would have some initial reservation until I got some clarification on a couple things. One is it going to soak up water? Is it waterproof? You don't want like any
it
kind
gonna
of
cause
algae
water to
or
sit there?
fungus or
Does it
mold
adhere
or
to the
anything like that.
concrete?
I don't think that's the case because they build playgrounds out of it. You would think it would
They
be
do.
pretty safe, but I would definitely check into it.
permeable, I think is the right word.
Yeah, but
or
does it
the
adhere
water-
to the concrete? Make sure of that.
You would definitely want it to be non-permeable, wouldn't you?
So for people listening that don't know what that is, kind of like on high school tracks, like around the football field, the track, or like a playground, like at Kids Cove in Virginia Beach, it was recycled tires.
Yes,
is
sir.
What they used
Exactly.
To use. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great option, but I would definitely call somebody that's an expert on it, and we're not.
So I'm in the air conditioning business, and every year they have some new fangled, beautiful multi-zone, but the best thing since sliced bread. Well, what happened to the bread last year? Everything, all these new bells and whistles. I do not allow my customers to be the guinea pigs.
Always be careful. Let somebody else enjoy that invention until version 4 or 5 comes out.
And then listen to their comments.
I mean, look how many iPhones you have.
I was
I'm
just
on
talking to
15.
somebody about that the other day. I was like, no, I'm not interested in being on board of that one. I'll wait until version 5 or 6 comes out.
Well, just that initial thought, it'd have to be another color other than a dark color, because that's going to be real hot around the pool.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I just heard it was a podcast or something today, earlier today. It was a guy online, and he said, he goes, if you'd have paid, $1,000 for each iPhone for, what is there, 15 different series. He said, if you'd have paid and bought stock instead of the iPhone, you would literally have like $2.3 million in your bank.
Yep.
If you'd have bought, instead of buying $1,000 phone a year.
Absolutely.
It was a $21,000 investment.
It was. Did you hear it today too? I'm trying to remember who said it.
I'm not sure. It was a couple of days ago, but that 21 grand, if you would have invested at the time,
$2.6 million. Oh my gosh,
that's crazy.
We missed that one.
I know we missed that boat.
So, Chuck, earlier we were talking about the air, basically where we lose air in the house. What are the 3 main things
Bob
that
still
you
there?
see?
Yeah. Sorry, Bob.
Bob,
Yeah.
did we answer your question?
I don't know that we did. I'm sorry we didn't have more information on that. I will make a few phone calls and see if I can't get you some more info on that. Like I said, I would just hesitate being the first guy to figure it out. I know back a couple of years ago, this is probably about 10 or 12 years ago, the Virginia Natural Gas came out with this phenomenal high, like 30 SEER efficient unit, gas furnace and air conditioner. And they ended up 4 years later coming and ripping out every single one of them. The Virginia Natural Gas had backed it up, but it was a York product called the Triathlon, and phenomenal unit. It just did not work. So there was thousands of these things pulled back out, and I just hesitate to be the first guy.
Yep.
That would be my only.
Latest.
I'm not saying it's not a great product. I just don't know that I've seen it enough.
I would say it's probably tried and tested and a good product. The question is the application right for that particular area?
Research.
Well, it's like Windows. Yeah. Windows don't leak. It's the installation of Windows.
Exactly.
So it's not just that. Is does somebody have enough experience installing these things?
That's right.
For it to be, a product the product might be great, and you got a guy that's inexperienced because it just came out, or it's probably been out a couple. I've heard of it, so it's been out a couple
cars
years.
Cars drive on land, not underwater, kind of thing. So the cars are great on land. The boats work great on water. Is this a good product right around pools? Who knows?
Yeah,
that is true. That is true. So hopefully that helps you a little bit.
Yeah,
but if I get any more information, I will definitely reach out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
We got Gary.
Here we got Mr. Gary. Hello, Mr. Gary.
Hello, how you guys doing tonight?
All right, Gary.
Great.
Thanks for calling in.
So I talked to you guys last Wednesday night when you asked a question about how many bundles in a square shingles, and then all of a sudden we were off the windows, and I don't know what happened, but I had promised one of your technicians, Lamont, that I was going to tell Chuck Worley that he was a good guy, and I really trusted him. He came out and did an AC checkup for me, and I'm telling you, he's a super guy. You need to be proud to have him on your team.
He is a phenomenal guy,
I know him
and
too,
I
Chuck. Great
recruited him like crazy. We known each other for quite a few years, and yes. The goal is in business when you're trying to hire people is character, integrity, and doing the right thing. And the guy's nickname was Honest Guy. Yep. Like, how in the world? I want that guy on my team, and he's phenomenal. I mean, if I had younger kids, I'd be having him and his wife just watch my kids. Like, I'd leave anybody's kids with him. He is just a phenomenal human being, but also one of the best technicians in Hampton Roads. Yep. I mean, he's just a fantastic guy.
Yeah. He handles himself really well. And I was just really impressed with him. And I told him I was going to call and tell how good he was. And I failed it. I don't know how. We just got off on these other issues or other conversations. But I did think of something else because we ended up talking about windows. And I built this is not at the Norfolk house. This is in Virginia Beach and Thurgood, and that's where he actually came out and did my checkup. I built an addition, and I put in a product that Lansing Supply has called Simolten. But then when I got ready to replace the old double hungs in the new house, I found I'm in the construction business. I found one of my trade partners, a commercial guy, basically a storefront and curtain wall guy. They actually had a residential arm that did Provera. And I think you mentioned that one night on a show. I think you said something about their triple pane is, I don't know. You had a comment about it, but I'm going to tell you what. I really do like those windows. I mean, I don't give them a plug. It's Goodman Glass. They did a great job installing them. You know, they did all the wrapping of the brick mold. They cleaned up after themselves. And those Provera windows, I don't know, you can comment on them, but I think they're a really good avenue if you got any folks out there that are looking for replacement windows.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for calling in. I appreciate the kind words about Lamont. He is phenomenal. He is a great part of our team.
I'm in Rotary Club with him, and he does community service for Smithfield.
He does a ton of community service.
So he is a super guy, super guy.
You want to go to Mary next? Hey, thanks for calling in, guys.
I was gonna tell you, you've given me a proposal to do maintenance, and I'm inclined to enter into an agreement, but part of it will have to be he's my guy.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Yep.
We hear that a lot. So thanks again, Gary. Mary, it's Virginia Beach. Can you hear us, Mary?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you got a question about painting your brick.
Yes. I've been begging my husband to do it for years, and he would not succumb. But I recently heard that it's not a good idea to paint the brick.
Well, I would say, one is when you do it, it's going to be it's one of those things you can't really undo very easily. So it's got to be a very big commitment. It's like you hate your brick so much you want to tear it down and start over kind of commitment. So what I would say is don't paint it, but look for a stain to put on it. The stain is going to adhere to the brick a lot better than any paint that you can get out there. Now, I'm not saying there's probably some painters listening and say, no, I got some paint that'll grab well. Yes, you can. But I would say stain is going to be a better option, better chance of it grabbing that brick. And, of course, there's some processes you need to go through to make that happen. If you wanted a little more information on that, I'd be glad to talk to you off air and see if we can't get you going in the right direction. But I won't stand behind you between you and your husband.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's a decision you guys have to make jointly.
Yeah, so it's not going to hurt them.
Companies that do it, and they're very good at it, but check reviews.
Yeah, but they're not going to, it's not going to hurt the brick. It's just, you're stuck with it, right? So it's,
Okay, Somebody told me that it was bad for the brick because then the brick couldn't breathe or something. I don't know.
No, I've never heard that.
Okay.
But again,
that's a question for a masonry contractor, and we know one.
To get the longest life out of whatever you do, stain is going to be your best option.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mary, for calling in. We appreciate it. So Susan could not hold on from Chesapeake, wanted to know if we could perform a termite inspection after a crawl space encapsulation. Yes. So, yes, Susan, you most certainly can do a termite inspection after a crawl space encapsulation. It's yes. So we do. Well, I mean, we do the crawl.
Wrong, right?
We do. Yeah. So if you don't pull, we pull a permit on our crawl space encapsulations. We do it up to the state of Virginia. All the cities are the same code. Some are interpreted a little bit different, but the minimum is 1 inch. The maximum is 2 inch. I wish it was 3 inch or more, but that is the code that has been set by the state. So the state is responsible for that. So we just had to adhere, since we pull permits on all of our encapsulations. We're stuck with that code. So you can do it. So the next caller is Virginia. We only got a few minutes, so let's jump on with Miss Virginia. Got a leak in her coil in her HVAC unit. Can we help you, Miss Virginia?
Yes, I have had two contractors look at it, and the bids come in to repair by between $3,000 and $4,000, and I'm just kind of getting an idea, is that legit?
Yeah, is it the indoor coil?
No, it's the outside coil.
How old is the equipment?
It's a Train 2018, but it's not warranty.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20, oh, it is 24, isn't it? Crap. Yeah. So so you should have a 5-year or a 10-year warranty. I know if they're registered through the Train company. I've been a Train dealer since 1996. But they did start a new thing. If you didn't register it, it won't be an automatic 10 years. So that may be the situation you're in. The coils, the outdoor coil is kind of a pain to replace. But hey, we're getting ready. We're cutting down on time. We only got a couple minutes or a minute left. So let me. I'm gonna give you a call after the show and talk you through that. Okay.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you, Miss Virginia. And we got 1 minute left, and the answer is we had nobody call in with trivia. So the Lost Boys, the actors, Kiefer Sutherland,
Donald Sutherland,
son, Corey Feldman,
and Corey
Jamie Gertz, and Jameson Newballer. So the female artist I was talking about was Miss Whitney Houston. Hear Me Dance. What's the? I Wanna Dance. Yeah. So thank you all for calling in. We had 8-9 callers call in. Hopefully you guys learned a lot at the show. Thank you very much.
The preceding program was sponsored and paid for by Worley Home Services, who's entirely responsible for its content.